Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
I'm Mr. Magazine.
Mr. Magazine, I need your help.
About time.
I need a pep talk. I know that you're often referred to as the Al Bundy of offensive linemen. I believe you blocked for 4 touchdowns against Andrew Johnson High.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Andrew Dice Clay, but okay.
Andrew Johnson High when you were playing for Polk.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I recall everyone talking about.
Sure.
And
Hope there's no young listeners right now.
so you were a big high school football star, and I'm sure there were times where you had a bad game or the team had a bad game, and there are times where a coach needs to yell and push you that way. But there are other times where a good coach will console you and tell you everything's going to be all right. And I need that kind of coaching right now. So you know that long term I have...
You're going to be okay. You're retiring in?
25 weeks, 2 days. Thanks for asking.
There you go. See, it's all good now.
All right. Hit the like button and we'll see you next video. You know that I have pivoted toward whatnot.
Art.
I have pivoted toward original art also,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
But toward whatnot.
Yes.
Where I'm selling a lot more items on whatnot, and I think long term that is going to end up being, I believe at some point it's going to pass eBay for my sales. Now, maybe a few years down the line, but it's going to pass eBay's in importance of my sales.
Okay. If they're still around.
I think eBay will still be around.
I don't know about that. I don't think either of them will be.
But I had a show yesterday, books, that didn't go very well. But I also had it at 6 o'clock at night, and most of my auctions are 4 o'clock. I had some things going on, so I wasn't able to do it till night. And that's not my usual time. And one of the big things that you need on this site is you need consistency. You need to be at the same time, same this, same that. The fact I was at a different time, I think kind of hurt me a little bit.
So earlier is better when people are working than after work in the evening?
No, not generally. However, I think that a lot of people at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday have whoever they automatically go to. And I'm not that person because that isn't my slot, generally speaking.
Gotcha.
I mean, of course, you can have any slot you possibly wanted, but I'm not known for that. Versus 4 o'clock on a Tuesday tends to be when I have my auctions, and people know that. And so they come by, my regulars come by. And I had a few regulars find me and everything, but it was less. But I blamed it on the time change.
Well, you did advertise this in advance?
Yeah, same as always, yeah.
Okay.
Today, I had a 4 o'clock auction, which is my normal time.
Yep.
Books, and I had some decent books, things that definitely should sell. I had like 50% sell through when usually I have 75 to 90% sell through, and it was probably the worst dollar grossing auction I have had in a long time. So I need a pep talk, Mr. Magazine. I have some theories about why, but I just like a pep talk from you and your thoughts.
Well, I know if you have a bunch of tables that are wobbly, they come in really handy for that. It's cheaper to put a book underneath the legs than to hire like a carpenter, So I think that's one positive thing.
So you think a lot of people's tables are not wobbly at this point any longer?
I think, and I'm getting to be a possible fan of whatnot because I might step into that, field at some point. So what I would say is, you have to be determined. You have to keep going. You can't just say, "Oh my gosh," and I'm not like that sometimes. And if I started whatnot and I had a horrible sale or two, I would be probably done. We went back 2 years when you started.
Well, can I interrupt?
Sure.
So I did talk to some people from Whatnot at one point, and their first question to me, one of their first questions to me was, when you started, how did you do at your first show? And I said I did $32. And I said,
I can't help it.
How'd you do at your second show? I said I did $28. And they go, and you came back? I said, yeah. And they said, a lot of people don't come back. They'll have a bad show or two and say, this site sucks, and not come back.
They expect a lot off the bat, or they expect a lot every single time, and it's not going to happen. And especially this period of, you're talking about sales are down in a lot of platforms right now. So why would Whatnot be any different? If eBay's down, Amazon's a lot. Amazon's down a little bit. My other sites are down a little bit. It's that time of year, Christmas is around the corner, so maybe people are saving up, or school just started. They got to coming in close. So this is not the best time to expect high sales in any platform.
Right. And that's what I've got to think. And I'm not rethinking, certainly not after 2 sales. I'm not rethinking my plans by any means whatsoever.
But they were, I don't mean to interrupt, but they were good books, like $10, $20 ones they could have bought for $5, or was it all $6 books they could have bought for $2 or $3?
$3 starts, $6 to $15. Yeah. But certainly a lot of things similar to other things I've sold as well.
Yeah.
Now, part of the problem also is I think that there are a few regular buyers that I have, and a couple of them didn't make it to the show for whatever reason. Sure. It's a commitment to make it to every show, so a couple of them didn't end up making it at all.
Yeah.
And on Whatnot, more than I think any other platform, you have to count on your regulars. eBay, yes, it's nice to have regulars, but I think the other thing with eBay is we put so few things up at auction that we don't even necessarily notice the regulars because it's in the store. So if somebody comes around once a week and checks your newest listed items in the store for the category they want, they might buy from you every week. And if they miss a week, you're not necessarily going to notice it.
Right.
Whereas if I've been having 3 book auctions a week lately, and when a couple of regulars don't show up, especially, and this is the hardest part of all, after you've been on Whatnot for a while, you tend to know more or less what people like. So let's say you were on Whatnot and you were doing comics, and Bob comes every single week, and Bob always buys Action Comics. Well, you're going to always make sure you got a couple of lots of Action Comics.
Yeah.
And Jane comes every week, and she likes Wonder Woman, and you're always going to have a couple of Wonder Woman. Well, if all of a sudden you have your typical sale with 40 items in it, and Bob and Jane don't go, and for whatever reason, and you have 3 lots that you expect Bob to buy, and 3 lots you expect Jane to buy, and 3 lots you expect somebody else to buy, and they don't show up for whatever reason it happens to be, well, all of a sudden it's not a good sale for you because you had those items more or less put aside for that person in the auction, figuring, oh, they're going to show up and they're going to buy these.
Sure.
Next auction, they could end up showing up, and you could have having a stellar auction.
Yeah, true.
So I guess, what is your ultimate pep talk to me?
Well, definitely be persistent, don't give up, and keep going. But I would try running some experiments, and maybe not now, but if you think this is really going to be your platform 2-3 years down the road after you retire, maybe this is a thought. And after retirement, when you have more time, take a month off of eBay and Amazon. Put a month into Whatnot. But in that month, run 2 auctions a day, every day, for a month, and see which ones bring the most people and get the most people watching. And just to say, hey, I never realized it, but
11
Sunday at 4 o'clock they love
it.
Let me, for whatever reason, that's why you'd have to do it for a month, unfortunately. But it'd be some work doing 2 a day. But give yourself 2 different time slots every day, but the same ones every week, and see which ones spike. And maybe that's you can change it up and say, hey, I'm getting these other book guys are getting a lot of feedback at these times. This is good for me. It's better than the 4 o'clock I had on Mondays or Tuesdays. I'm going to try it out and stick with it.
Right. And right now I don't have that advantage because obviously it's got to be after the day job. My boss gets upset when I sit there and run auctions during the day job time. It's weird.
It is crazy.
It's crazy. And I need to go to bed because I have to get up because I got the day job the next day. So that does make it a little bit difficult. But no, that is a very good idea. I've kind of slowly started experimenting a little bit, but more or less all I can do at this point are things on weekends and things like that. Because again, I can't generally do it at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday. I can't do it because I've got the day job in the way. So that's a really good idea. Be persistent. And I think that'll help anybody out there no matter what they're doing. Don't expect instant success. Very rarely are you going to have instant success on any platform. Unless you come across an absolute killer deal. Obviously.
Do you do any lots, like 3 books? Like
sometimes,
if it's all the same author or whatever? Or
sometimes,
series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Obviously, if I suddenly came across the Mile High collection and I sent it off to Heritage, I'm going to have tremendous success. Obviously. If I went and I found the typical comics that you find around at deals and I call Heritage, they're probably going to tell me, oh, those are very nice comics. You should probably sell those locally. So I'm not going to have tremendous success. Or maybe they'll say, send this 1 book in. Sure. And the rest of them, good luck to you on. So I think that, again, that what the people from Whatnot said, I mean, they are aware of the problem that people don't automatically do great on the site, and that you just need to persevere. And thank you, Mr. Magazine. That's why you are a Eddie Meath team all-star center, blocked 4 touchdowns for Polk High against Andrew Johnson High. And Al Bundy thanks you. And if you can hit the like button out there, we will thank you, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.